Lizzo. The I don't know. I don't even know really how to describe her. She's so singular in terms of the pop world. I mean, we haven't heard from Lizzo in a few years now. Obviously dropping some singles, but her last album was 2019. So, 3 years, and as she mentions right at the top here, she's kind of just been like out of the limelight for the most part since 2020, since COVID hit. And so, Special drops. I
Mm.
think expectations were high. Do you think Special met those expectations?
In short, I think it did. And there were high expectations for Special because, as you said, as Lizzo says in the beginning of the album, this is the first Lizzo album, first Lizzo project of any kind to come out since Lizzo blew up and became a mainstream pop force. Because I Love You, early 2019, comes out, and the next thing you know, Truth Hurts really blows up, a song from 2017, not a song from that album originally. One of the first modern TikTok revival songs in a certain sense, I guess you could say. Um, Next thing you know, that blows up, then Good as Hell blows up, and Lizzo blows up. And now she's going to be going on an arena tour at the end of the year. Like, she's a huge artist now. And if you look at the track listing for Special, you'll notice that, as most huge artists do, she has a who's who of A-list producers
Oh
working
yeah.
with her. Mark Ronson, Max Martin, Omar Fetty, Kid Harpoon, who was just all over Harry Styles' album, um, Mike Dean, Ian Kirkpatrick, the
Yep.
writer of many Dua Lipa songs.
Benny Blanco.
Yep, it's everyone basically.
Yep.
So Lizzo has got all the help she needs, and then you listen to the album, and I was actually a bit impressed with, I think, how much she manages to get out in a short runtime, under 40 minutes. And it didn't feel compromising at all, honestly. Like, her first album as a pop force, but it still felt and sounded like a lot of the most appealing things about her earlier music. And yet, I think she still kind of like is living up to that higher standard now, which is coming in spite the fact that with her increased profile, she is uh, come under more online abuse and is off always at the forefront of body image discussion, whether that's positive or negative, and seems to bear a lot of cultural responsibility, I guess, on her shoulders, right? But I think
Mhm.
she largely matched that uh, pressure on this album, which I think is obviously very commendable.
Yeah, I completely agree that this lived up to expectations. I thought this was pretty much banger after banger on this. Even the tracks that are a little bit slower and toned down, I think really are very catchy and fun to listen to. I really was impressed with the way she's able to speak to social uh social commentary, social causes, but also just kind of like make critiques in a way that I think still made her music pretty palatable. And she doesn't like pull her punches. For someone as famous as she is, and like you mentioned, going on these arena tours, she goes right out there and says the things that she believes in and that she wants to advocate for. I mean, she named one of her songs "Everybody's Gay." She's pretty much just like, this is who I am, what I believe in, and I think the music still absolutely goes. And you mentioned how she keeps a lot of the sound that has made her popular to this point, made her so successful to this point. I think you get that in the first two tracks right away. You think about something like Juice, which was probably like the first time that people like she really, really blew up with a song. I mean, she had Boys, I think to that point was probably the second biggest track, but Juice really kind of elevated her. I think The Sign and About Damn Time infused that like disco 80s pop production that she just really, really thrives in. And you just kind of hear that coming like every other track from there on out. And she just really, really, she's just really great in that realm of pop music. Um, About Damn Time, we knew was already like it has, I think, over 250 million plays on Spotify, huge TikTok trend already. But The Sign, I think, just like starts the album off on such a fun, boppy, catchy foot that
Mm.
you're kind of sucked in for whatever's left to come from there. Um, what else did you like from there? Like, what other songs?
Yeah, well, I think Lizzo's does a really good job on Special with giving you her brand of pop music, which is very uh, positive and uplifting and just trying to make the listener feel good. That's her thing, you know? And I think at times lyrically she can feel a bit cheesy or corny, but on the other hand, it still kind of feels authentic. Like that's just
Mm,
who she is.
yeah,
So it's like not really a demerit. And I think often like the way she performs, obviously she comes from a bit of a hip hop background. You can hear hip hop cadence in a lot of her songs. I wouldn't call this a hip hop album at all.
mm,
I think she's really all the way into pop now. Like Doja Cat can still bring you rap and just rap her ass off. Lizzo doesn't really do that anymore. Not that I don't think she could, but that's just not the music she's doing. That being said, because she has that hip hop ability, she kind of like gives you like really conversational lyrics or singing style at
hmm
times, and it just comes across as very authentic. So I think song to song, nothing feels compromised. Nothing feels like
yeah,
I made this with A-list producers like Max Martin, even though she did make it with those people. Like it all feels and sounds like Lizzo music still. And I think that's obviously easier said than done, where there's been countless pop stars that maybe aren't actually that artistic and kind of get lost when they work
yeah,
with all these other people, right? We don't have to go
hmm
into name names, but like Lizzo clearly has a real identity, and I find that really really commendable that she was able to live up to this pressure and all these things going on. So I
yeah.
just really hats off to her for that. Um,
I
honestly,
think
I was really impressed with the confidence, and obviously she's a very confident artist, right? That's her thing, and she's like I said, I just give her so much credit for the ability to make, I think, really uplifting music for so many people. Like she's obviously a clear role model and has accrued a legion of fans for all kinds of reasons, right? But to have the confidence to do Break Up Twice, which lyrically obviously
yeah,
can appeal to a lot of people, but to have the confidence to so openly interpolate Lauren
Lauren
Hill
Hill.
doo
Yeah,
wop, boy, you better watch out. It's like, oh
yeah,
my god, like I heard it right away. I was like, oh no, she's doing it.
yep.
Oh fuck, she did it. I was like, that was really good. Like that was a really really, I think, tasteful and effective use of a sample.
I completely agree, and I think "Break Up Twice" is one of the highlights of this whole album for me. And speaking to your point about how she's so authentic that like even songs that if anyone else was doing them come across as like corny, special right before it should be a song that you just listen to and you're like, man, this is lame as hell. Like, what are you talking about? But
Yeah.
you hear Lizzo sing it and you're like, man, yeah, you know what? I am special. Like, there's everybody's got something special about him. She just has this like aura about her, and this her personality is just so it just really shines through in these songs.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I really liked I Love You Bitch too. I just found that to be like a really like fun song, and it has like that like disco light feel to it. And
Yes.
that's kind of what I think really like shown through is you have a song like Break Up Twice, which is obviously you're biting Lauren Hill there, but it's a little bit more like toned down. Naked is more of like a ballad, and more like
Yes.
sensual, sexual. But like she from song to song, she makes these tone changes work, and everything feels so sticky and so well produced and so in line with her vision that you really just like buy into these changes. And even when you do go from a higher tone to a lower slower tone, it doesn't really take you out of the album, which I was really impressed by.
Mm.
If anything, I think the only moment that really took me out of the album was the last track, Coldplay, when it just has Chris Martin singing right at the beginning. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I thought,
Pass.
yeah, I was like, I don't know if this totally works. But other than that, I think those first 11 tracks are just really, really
Right.
great. What other songs stood out to you?
I think in the hands of another artist, hearing a song titled "Everybody's Gay" would be like, are you
Mm,
trying to uh, queer bait to your fans there and just kind of ride that? However, you listen to the song and it's like, honestly, no. That's just kind of a really like honest, uplifting, inclusive song. It's
yeah,
softer than some of the other more dancey, disco-y, up-tempo bangers to that point, but it still feels real to Lizzo. And I think she's probably entitled to making a song like that because, she has a huge queer fan base and
exactly.
songs like Boys are staples of drag brunches and things like
Mhm.
that. So I there was a lot of room for a song like that to not be as effective as it ended up being.
Totally. I had the same exact thought that it's like, this one could have fallen flat, but she just has that so much buy-in from that community and has been such an
Mm,
ally to that community that at this point I think she's given a little more leeway. Yeah, I mean, I really think like even songs that like you may not find yourself coming back to a lot, like "Birthday Girl." It's probably not a song I'm gonna find myself coming back to a lot, but that chorus, "Hit it to the birthday girl," it's like it's so fun. You're just like, "Oh yeah, this is great." Like upbeat, uplifting. You just gotta love Lizzo's like aura. Like she just really makes things
mm,
fun. It feels like a lot of time.
yeah,
So I should
yeah.
really just enjoy her.
One last note too, you'll notice that the lead single we thought for this album, "Rumors," featuring Cardi B, is not on this track list. Lizzo
Mm,
said that basically the sentiment of those lyrics just didn't really fit the vibe for the rest of the album, so she left it off. And I was like, you know what? Takes a lot of courage again to leave a A-list feature off your album, in this case, Cardi B. But honestly, yeah, it seems like it worked out. This is a really short and sweet album that gives you so much to revisit, and
yeah,
surely will have many hits spawn from it. And you know, Lizzo leading the continuing this like dancey summer that Drake started and Beyonce will continue. So there we go.
absolutely. Lizzo, she's a queen. We're putting on our Nostalgia Best of 22, 2022 playlist, so follow that on Spotify.